Have you ever studied for hours and then forgotten everything the next day? What if I told you that some students are using study methods that help them learn faster without spending all day at their desks? And what if one of the biggest reasons you're struggling isn't because you're lazy or distracted, but because you're studying in a way that your brain was never designed to learn? I recently spent hours researching the study habits that many high-performing Chinese students use, and honestly, some of them completely changed how I think about studying. In this video, I'm sharing the most effective techniques I found from the 90-minute focus method to the mistake notebook, active recall, and a simple rule that could instantly make your study sessions more productive. And make sure you stay until the end, because the final secret is probably the most important one. And it's the reason many students stay consistent even when motivation disappears. Let's start with the most surprising secret. The first secret is something that completely surprised me. Most students think the goal is to study for as many hours as possible, but many high-performing students focus on something different: the quality of those hours. Instead of studying endlessly, they study in deep, focused blocks of about 90 minutes. No phone, no notifications, no switching tabs, just one task and complete focus. But here's the interesting part. After those 90 minutes, they stop. Not because they're tired, because your brain's ability to concentrate naturally starts to decline. And this is where most students make a mistake. They keep pushing through, become distracted, and end up spending an hour doing what could have taken 20 minutes. High-performing students would rather have 90 minutes of real focus than 4 hours of half-focused studying. But the break they take afterward is even more surprising. After their 90-minute study session, many students immediately grab their phones. They open Instagram, watch YouTube, reply to messages, and it feels like a break. But according to many high-performing students, this can actually make your next study session harder. Why? Because your brain suddenly goes from studying a textbook to receiving hundreds of tiny bursts of entertainment and dopamine. Then, when it's time to study again, your textbook feels incredibly boring. So instead, they take what some people call a boring break. For about 15 to 20 minutes, they do simple things: walk around, stretch, drink water, look outside, organize their desk, sit quietly. This gives your brain time to recover without flooding it with distractions. And when the break is over, it's much easier to get back into deep focus. Now, here's the crazy part. Even if you're studying a lot, you might still be learning much slower than you could be, because most students make the same mistake when they revise. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever read a chapter, highlighted half the page, felt productive, and then forgotten most of it a few days later? You're not alone. In fact, this might be the biggest mistake students make. Many students think studying means reading notes again and again. The problem is that reading feels productive. But feeling productive and actually learning are not the same thing. High-performing students focus on something called active recall. Instead of repeatedly reading information, they force themselves to remember it. Study a topic, close the book, write down everything you know without looking at your notes. Whatever you forget becomes the thing you need to review. Your brain has to work, but that's exactly why it works. Because learning doesn't happen when information goes in. Learning happens when information comes out. And there's another technique that makes active recall even more powerful. Most students have a frustrating cycle: study, forget, panic, relearn, forget again, and repeat. But many high-performing students try to stop forgetting before it happens. This is called spaced repetition. The idea is simple. Instead of reviewing something when you've already forgotten it, review it just before your brain is about to forget it. For example, study a topic today, review it tomorrow, then again after 3 days, then after a week, then after 2 weeks. Each review can be surprisingly short, sometimes just 5 to 10 minutes. But every time you revisit the information, the memory gets stronger. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't pour a year's worth of water onto it in one day. You water it consistently. That's exactly how memory works. And the next secret might be my favorite because it's something almost nobody talks about. Yet it can completely change the way you improve at studying. Most students spend their time looking at what they got right. High-performing students do the opposite. They study their mistakes. In fact, some students keep something called an error notebook. Every time they get a question wrong, they write down 3 things: the mistake, why it happened, and the correct answer. That's it. Over time, this notebook becomes a collection of the exact things that are holding them back. Think about it. If you keep making the same mistakes in math, science, or any other subject, shouldn't those mistakes get more attention than the questions you already know? Your mistakes are giving you a map. They're showing you exactly where you need to improve. And here's the best part. Many exams don't test completely new ideas. They test similar patterns again and again. So every mistake you fix today is one less mistake you'll make on the real exam. But there's another habit that makes all of these techniques work even better. And it has nothing to do with motivation. Once I feel motivated, I'll start studying. But what if motivation never shows up? Many high-performing students don't study because they feel motivated. They study because they have a system. Think about brushing your teeth. You probably don't wake up every morning feeling incredibly motivated to do it. You do it because it's part of your routine. That's exactly how studying should work. Instead of asking, "Do I feel like studying today?" Ask, "What does my system say I should do today?" Maybe it's one 90-minute session. Maybe it's reviewing flashcards. Maybe it's completing a practice paper. The goal isn't to study perfectly every day. The goal is to keep showing up, because consistency beats motivation almost every time. A student who studies 1 hour every day for a month will usually outperform a student who studies 10 hours once a week. And the final secret ties everything together. It's the reason these students seem to learn so much faster than everyone else. Many students start their study session with the easiest task. Maybe organizing notes. Maybe decorating a planner. Maybe reviewing a chapter they already know. It feels good. But high-performing students often do the opposite. They tackle the hardest task first. This idea is called eat the frog. Your frog is the thing you've been avoiding, the difficult chapter, the challenging subject, the assignment you've been procrastinating on. Why do it first? Because your energy, focus, and willpower are usually highest at the beginning of a study session. Once the hardest task is done, everything else feels easier. And there's something incredibly satisfying about knowing the most difficult part of your day is already behind you. Now, let's talk about the real secret behind all of these techniques. The real secret isn't that these students are smarter. It's not that they have a perfect memory. And it's definitely not that they study 24 hours a day. The real secret is that they make learning easier for their brains. They focus deeply and take smarter breaks. They test themselves instead of endlessly rereading. They review before forgetting. They learn from mistakes. They follow systems instead of waiting for motivation. And they tackle the hardest tasks first. None of these habits are magic on their own. But when you combine them, studying becomes faster, easier, and far more effective. So here's my challenge for you. Don't try all of these at once. Pick just one. Master one habit first. Then add another. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe for more study tips, productivity advice, and student-friendly content. And comment below which Chinese study secret surprised you the most. Good luck with your studies, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.